Hello, so in this module what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to hook up one of these temperature humidity sensors, this DHT11. It's really popular in a lot of the kits for Arduinos, and sometimes they're out as individual components like this, and sometimes they're actually soldered onto little boards with just a 3-wire connection. But with the right library, they're super easy to use. And speaking of which, the library that I'm going to be using is from Rob Tillart. Now, for my particular project, I actually wanted to get more information than just the temperature and humidity. I was actually interested in getting the dew point so that I could build a feels-like monitor. So I actually modified this library, and you can see that you get the potential of quite a bit of information that comes out of it. And to download this library, you can get it now in a couple of different places. So if you're a student, you're probably going to want to just grab it. If you want to, my students, for example, you'll probably just want to get it from your Canvas page. And if you go to Files and then go to Download for Students, it's going to be right here. Again, just download it. Don't open it. Okay, just download it. And I'll review in just one second how you can go ahead and install it. And if you're not a student at George School, I finally opened up a GitHub, and I'll post this link, but you can actually just get it from GitHub now under Patton Robotics/DHT11, and then you would just go here and download the zip file, and that'll give you everything of my modified DHT11 library. Keep in mind, this is a really popular device. There's lots of libraries. Almost all of them work great. I just wanted a little extra information. And you don't have to use my library. You know, there's plenty of them out there. Just Google DHT11 library and you'll be good to go. But moving on, let's say, for example, you're using somebody's library, mine or directly from this guy or somebody else. You're going to need to install that library. And the easiest way to do it is just go to Include Library, Add Zip Library, and from there you go ahead and find that zip file that you downloaded. So mine's going to be, and I've actually downloaded lots of them here to play with, but mine would be this DHT11 modified. I'm sorry, DHT modified is what mine showed up as. But you'll download yours and you'll see it, and just click on it, say Open. And if all goes well, you'll get a little notice down here that says your library was successfully installed. And if you do that, there'll be some sample programs or sketches that we can open up. But let's talk about hooking this guy up. It's super simple. All you need is a couple of wires and a 10K resistor. And if you have one that's already built into a module, which I seem to have misplaced, you don't even need the resistor because it's already built onto the little board. But mine is a discrete component. It's a 4-wire device. Let me go ahead and pull this apart. And I'll just rip the whole thing apart because it goes together super fast. Okay, so it's a 4-wire device. With the grill facing me, I'm going to go ahead and insert it into these last 4 holes. All right. By the way, we will not be using the second pin from the right, okay, or the third pin from the left. Is going to be left blank, okay, so nothing's going to go into it. So I'm going to go ahead and insert it there. I'm going to take my 10K resistor, and I'm going to span it from the second pin from the left, okay, all the way to the power bus, which I will be energizing from my Arduino here, so the second one. I'm going to take a red wire here, and I'm going to take it to the very first one and hook it to the power bus. So now we've got two wires going essentially to the power bus, the resistor and the one that feeds it direct. The last wire, okay, the one that's furthest to the right, it's going to go to ground. So I'll just put that in there someplace on my ground bus. I could run these straight across, by the way, but I'm going to be building something else on this board with an LCD, and so I'm just going to power my bus. But you could run this straight to ground, and you could run this. Well, actually, you still need to run this one to the bus because I have that resistor in there. All right, and the only other wire we really need is a signal wire, and it's going to be in the same one as the resistor Okay, so there'll be two wires plugged into this, essentially the second pin from the left. And I'm going to use it on pin 10. Like so. Okay. Now you can choose which pin. You can set that in code. And I'm going to now plug in my device. Like so. And then, like I said, I'm going to go ahead now and hook a wire to my ground bus. And I'm going to hook a wire to my 5 volts. And then I'm going to energize this device. And then you can go here and you can find examples. It should be down here near the bottom, DHT11. I have a couple of examples. I have the original one, and then I have two other ones. I'll load this one first, okay? And so that's going to be the big one. It's going to have all the information. Now notice, I think originally I had mine hooked up to pin 2. Please look at this line. Make sure that this number matches the pin that you have it connected to. Okay, so change it. If it was 2, make it 10, or make it whatever pin you're using. And I'll upload this guy. And oh, I got a glitch here. Hold on a second. Let me hit upload again. All right. And then we'll find our serial. Let me get this guy out of the way. And lo and behold, here comes all your information. Okay? And all this stuff is available with these variables right here. Okay? And the functions that make it go are all down here. So you can look at these individual functions. I'll explain that in just a moment. But let's look at the, the simple one first. So I'm actually going to reopen it. I'm going to go File, Examples, and Simple. All right. And still uses the same library, so all of these things are still available, but this particular one's a little easier to explain. Okay. And I've got mine hooked up to pin 10. And all I'm really going to be doing right here is I need to check whether or not a good connection. All right. If I get a good connection, I'll get the sensors okay. Anything else that goes wrong on this simple is just going to tell me there's an error. The variables that I'm interested in on this simple one is simply going to be humidity, the temperature in Celsius, and the temperature in Fahrenheit. And of course, I'm going to output those variables in this concatenated string. So we should be able to get this guy to run pretty smoothly. And we'll have just those pieces of information coming out. Okay, there you go. So that's all there is to connecting this. In the next video, I'll hook it to an LCD display so you don't have to have this going. And I will see you all in just a few minutes.